this is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
Stuff You Should Know is brought to you by Grainger. Grainger knows that if you're an HVAC technician and a call comes in, you need a partner that helps you find the right product, fast and hassle-free. And you know that when the first problem of the day is a clanking blower motor, there's no need to break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product details, you can be confident that soon you'll have everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, and welcome to the Short Stuff. I'm Josh. There's Chuck. Jerry's here too. Dave's here in spirit. This means it's short stuff. Let's go.
Yeah, we're talking about the peace sign today. This was put together by a guy named Josh Clark.
No, this is from Jesselyn Shields at How Stuff Works.
That's right. I was just kidding around.
Oh, okay.
Or actually, I was serious, but as I was saying it, I noticed I was wrong.
Wow, this has gotten confusing already. Stop laughing.
But that's right. We're talking about the peace sign, the very familiar circle with the one vertical line straight down the center,
Sure.
and then the two lines branching off at 45-degree angles.
The peace sign, everybody. Come on.
Hey, you never know.
I mean, it's everywhere. It's been everywhere. And weirdly, Chuck, it's not that old, actually, which I guess isn't that weird. I think it's actually weird that it's older than I thought it was. How about that?
Okay.
All right. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it, because it didn't start out when the gentleman who created it, one Gerald Holtham, he didn't say, hey, this is a peace sign, everybody. He was a British artist. He wouldn't have said it like that anyway. He would have had an accent. And he was an activist, and he was a conscientious objector of World War II. Yeah. And it was a time in the 1950s when he was doodling around when people were worried. This is post-World War II, and the U.S. dropped 2 atomic bombs on Japan. And the sort of peaceniks of the world were like, hey, this cannot stand, man. We don't want anyone to do this ever again. And so some groups started forming to try and counter that.
Yeah, specifically, there was a group called the Direct Action Committee Against Nuclear War, a group of pacifists at the time. This is the late 50s. This is pre-hippie, but these people definitely prefigured the hippies who were soon to come. But they were legitimately worried about a world where not just 1, but 2, and then now 3 at the time, nations had nuclear weapons that they were stockpiling. And they ended up co-founding with some other groups the Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament that just basically said, let's just get rid of these things. You thought it was a good idea. You tried it. It turned out to be a horrific idea. Let's stop doubling and tripling and quadrupling down on this, and let's just get rid of them altogether.
That's right. That's a group that's still around today, which is pretty great. And one of the first big things they did was organized a march in London from Trafalgar Square, about 52 miles, or in this case, 83 clicks away, to Aldermaston, where they had a facility that was producing nuclear material. And Holtham said, you know what? Everybody, we need a logo.
They did. I guess he probably sounded a little bit like that, like the Sheriff of Nottingham.
Okay. That's very kind of you.
So he came up with this this peace sign for the event, for that march. And I've seen 2 different competing explanations of that design. And I don't know if it was just coincidence or what, but he said later on in a letter to somebody, the artist himself, Gerald Holtham, said that it was meant to be a kind of stylized minimalist version of a person in despair standing there with their arms out to their sides downward and their palms facing out. And he says, like in the manner of a Spanish peasant being executed by a firing squad in a Goya painting. There's a very famous Goya painting of a peasant being executed by a French firing squad, but he has his hands up in the air. He doesn't have them downward. So I don't know what Gerald Holtham was talking about. The one that makes way more sense is since he was creating this for the Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament, it was actually also called the CND logo, that it was actually, it's a semaphore. It's a combination of semaphores that stand for N and D.
That's right. And a semaphore is a It's basically an alphabet that you use flags, and this is before you could communicate via, short distance radio. Like you see people out on the tarmac, they're waving those flags around, and they're not just saying like over here, over there. You can actually spell things out by
they're spelling out
using
over
those.
here, over there.
That's exactly right. Yeah, but that's what they're doing. It's a way of communicating over a long range where you can't hear somebody.
Yes. So the N, which stood for nuclear, is two lines that basically come apart at a 45-degree angle away from the guy holding or the person holding the semaphores.
Right.
Right. So they're standing there straight as an arrow with their arms out to their sides downward, holding the flags. That's N. You're spelling an N if you do that. Right? If you want to do a D, you hold one flag straight up in the air, one flag down, maybe throw your head back, a la flash dance, just for a little extra touch. And you're spelling a D for disarmament. So if you put that in a circle, what you have, friends, is the peace sign, a.k.a. the Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament logo.
And that could be coincidence? Is that what we're saying here?
It's not possible it's coincidence.
Okay. So what are you saying then, that Holtum was just...
I don't know if he was misquoted, if he'd forgotten.
Yeah.
I just don't understand the Goya thing because it doesn't even show up in a Goya painting.
Yeah. I just looked up the painting. He's definitely got his arms up.
Yeah, there's no mistaking it. I mean, maybe if you turned him upside down, but no.
So they made these badges out of white clay that they had baked, and the message was basically, if there was a nuclear war, these badges would be one of the few things left behind that would survive. That's fine. But the symbol, I think, was enough. It was very simple. It was very easy to reproduce, and very key. Before we take the break, we will mention that Holtum did not copyright this thing because he wanted it spread far and wide, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. I was going to suggest we left it as a cliffhanger whether he copyrighted it or not, but I think you made the right decision.
All right, then let's say this. Did he copyright it? Let's find out after the break.
Stuff you should know.
Hey, everybody, we're here to talk to you about Wayfair, who believes that spaces should be functional, they should be comfortable, they should be well-designed, and they can be well-designed by you with their help.
Your updated space should feel more comfortable, inviting, and practical for everyday use. And we're talking about outdoor seating. We're talking about grills. We're talking about major appliances. If you need storage solutions, Wayfair can help you out. Patio lighting, rugs, decor. It is your one-stop shop for home.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting nice out, so it's time to think about living outdoors for the next few months. And Wayfair knows that outdoor furniture, it's heavy, it's intimidating to assemble. So Wayfair has stepped in and said, we're going to handle the hard part so you don't have to.
That's right. You can shop Wayfair Verified, your shortcut to the good stuff. And that means their team of product specialists are going to vet everything by hand using a 10-point inspection, testing things like, quality materials, functionality, and features, and even how long it takes to build that piece of furniture. And the overall experience save time, reduce hassle, and improved convenience.
Patio season is here, and these deals won't last. So head to wayfair.com right now to get your outdoor space ready for way less. That's WAYFAIR.com.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Dell PCs with Intel Inside are built for the moments that matter, for the moments you plan and the ones you don't. Built for the busy days that turn into all-night study sessions, the moment you're working from a cafe and realize every outlet's taken.
Yeah, the times you're deep in your flow and the absolute last thing you need is an auto update throwing off your momentum. That's why Dell builds tech that adapts to the way you actually work. Built with a long-lasting battery so you're not scrambling for the closest outlet, and built-in intelligence that makes updates around your schedule, not in the middle of it.
That's right. They don't build tech just for tech's sake. They build it for you. Find technology built for the way you work at Dell.com/Dell PCs. Built for you.
So we said that these pacifists that were into nuclear disarmament in the late 50s prefigured the hippies, and they definitely didn't. What's interesting is the peace symbol is a direct connection between those two groups because, we didn't say, Gerald Holtom did not copyright his creation. It was free for anybody to use. And he did that on purpose. That was a very deliberate thing for him to do because at first he was spreading this message for nuclear disarmament. But as the hippies kind of adopted it and took on more and more other stuff that they wanted to see changed for the better, the peace sign kind of morphed and evolved from a symbol that everybody recognized, meaning nuclear disarmament, to one that meant just peace in general. A whole catch-all is what it became. It expanded.
That's right. And like we've said many times already, he didn't copyright this thing, so it was very easy to distribute without having to worry about, fear of legal repercussions or paying somebody for its use. So all of a sudden it was all over the place and just became ubiquitous and tied to this idea of peace, which, peace and anti-nuclear war is not the biggest leap. But it was definitely not the peace sign until Vietnam came around.
Yeah, it's also kind of expanded to be a symbol for the struggle to be recognized and treated equally, like women's rights movements, environmental movements, the anti-apartheid movement, all adopted the peace symbol. The ruling party of South Africa tried to ban it, in fact.
Yeah.
And that did not take. And Gerald Holtom, for his part, he wanted the peace symbol on his headstone, and he didn't get it. I don't know why I just spoiled that, but it seems weird to me. Like, if you say I want something on my headstone, there are very few cases where I think people should be like, no, we're not going to put that on your headstone. But he wanted an inverted peace symbol in the manner of a Goya peasant being executed.
Exactly. He was like, instead of hands down, it should be up, like symbolizing growth and like the tree of life where mankind lives. And I guess whoever was in charge of his funeral said, nah.
Right. I'm sick of that stupid symbol.
Very strange.
There's one other thing we got to throw in, and that's the Mercedes-Benz logo.
Yeah. I mean, you can't go to an Atlanta Falcons football game without seeing that peace sign there on the stadium.
Right.
I'd kind of wondered about this, but obviously I didn't put too much thought into it because I knew that the Mercedes-Benz company had been around long before the 1950s, and that was the case. It was first.
It was. It was actually the Daimler brothers adopted it as a logo. They adapted it from a postcard their father had sent them, and their home had been marked on the postcard with a 3-pointed blue star. They're like, let's make that our logo, which is sweet and wholesome until you realize what the 3 points of the star stand for: the company's dominance of products for use on land, sea, and air, which is not exactly peace symbolish, so it's not at all related.
That's right.
Chuck said that's right. I'm out of stuff to talk about, so short stuff's out.
Stuff You Should Know is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.